Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Therapeutic Wisdom from the AKASH. Yay, I am live. How's everybody doing? I missed you guys last week. How many of you celebrate Easter and got together with family or friends and experienced the holiday? I missed you guys and I'm glad to be back. And tonight we're going to be talking about migraine headaches. So if there's anybody you know that experiences migraines or has experienced migraines in the past and could benefit from this discussion, please feel free to send it their way. I would love for this information to get out there. I'm obviously not a medical doctor, but I have actually experienced migraines most of my life and have a lot of clients who have experienced the same and have some really powerful downloads and wisdom from the Akashic records around migraines and how we can work to release them through our own form of healing, so our self-healing, right? Which is so empowering, so empowering. So any of you who have not been to Awoken TV before, please let me know. If you're new here, I would love to welcome you. And any of you who have been here before, welcome back. It's so nice to have you. My name is Laura Mazzotta, and I am an Akashic healer and teacher. And I really help mission-driven souls live and fulfill their mission. And activate their passion towards their mission by healing at the most potent, deep level necessary to be able to open yourself up to share your light in the world. So that's my passion. I do it through the space of the Akashic records, which has been the most efficient and effective form of healing that I have found in my own journey and also for my clientele. So I am here on Awoken TV, which you can find on www.awoken.tv and on the App Store. There's some really awesome new shows that have been coming out. So I definitely encourage you to sign up and register there. And then you'll also get access to other courses and films from conscious light workers who are here to raise the vibration of the planet. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. It's kind of like a spiritual and metaphysical Netflix. So anyway, say hello if you guys are hopping on. I want to make sure that the comments are working so I can close up my phone and not have to stare at it. You have experienced migraine headaches. Is this something that you have currently in your life or have experienced in the past? It's something that I have had since high school. I started getting migraines when I was in high school, and I remember missing so many days of school because my migraines were so bad. And I was on medications off and on throughout the years. I tried a lot of natural supplements. I tried a lot of I tried chiropractic. I tried acupuncture. I tried magnetic pillows. Have you ever used a magnetic pillow? Like a contoured magnetic pillow? I tried those, right? So I did that for years, and I took a lot of different supplements. I would say magnesium has helped me the most just in terms of supplements for my neurological system in general, but particularly for migraines. That's been really helpful. Hi, Lori. Thank you so much. Now I know that the comments are working and I can close this up. I appreciate it. Do you ever do any meditation or downloads for people with leg ulcers and lymphedema? And hello from Minnesota. Hello. So nice to meet you. I'm in New York. I absolutely do. I can do an Akashic reading for you. I also do Akashic healings in my free private Facebook group called Room for Healing. So you can also join that as well. And I do Akashic healings every week where people bring forward physical or emotional or relational issues that they're having. And I bring through downloads and healing from the Akashic record. So that's something you could take advantage of, or I could certainly do a healing for you as well. When we are experiencing physical issues, myself being one of them, because I started this journey because of recovering from sepsis. So I had a long road myself, just recovering physically. The energy has come through so many layers, and it settles in at a physical level and presents that way when it's gotten into its densest form, because when it's gotten into its densest form, it can take a little bit more time to soften that and break it up, right? So what our bodies need to see is that we're going to be consistent with whatever approach we take to be able to alleviate our discomfort. Okay. So, hi, Amy. So good to see you. Thanks for being here. Yes, exactly. So, and migraines are something that can be very cyclical as well. But it's important to note whether we find any alignment with those cycles, right? Like we notice, okay, maybe it's the change of seasons I'm getting them. Is it around my menstrual cycle? Is it around certain phases of the moon? Is it around certain activities or relationships that I'm engaging in, right? So you can certainly track them just to get a conscious understanding of just the surface level triggers for your migraines. People with migraines are very, very sensitive people, right? We're empaths. We're people who can feel the energy of those around us or of the environment around us. And our neurological system takes that on, right? So, boundaries are one thing that can really assist you when you are experiencing migraines because it's you being able to decide what energy you're choosing to bring into your field and what energy you're choosing not to. I actually have a mini course running right now called Limitless. And what we're doing there is we're identifying those limiting beliefs that are interfering with our progress forward. And this could be in the areas of health or wealth or career or relationships, because our energy field is layered. And when we touch the beliefs and the thoughts and we shift those permanently, then we're catching the energy before it gets to the emotional field and before it gets to the physical field. So it's a very helpful preventive technique, which is why I was motivated through the AKASH to bring forward this course for people, because I'm all about prevention for physical or emotional illness, right? Because I firmly believe that everything is energy and it's moving at all times. And so our bodies can serve as a real tool and a cue to bring forward those deeper areas that we may not be consciously aware of, that need to be released or healed or transformed or understood from a different perspective. Okay. So it's being open and willing with your awareness to welcome in whatever it is the universe is telling you when you have a migraine. So, how many of you have ever read Louise Hay? She wrote You Can Heal Your Life, which is an excellent book. There's an index in the back with all sorts of physical and emotional ailments that plague us as human beings. And she aligns them with limiting beliefs that lie underneath those ailments. So for migraines, she talks about this trouble with, yeah, you've read her. Okay, good. So the migraines are really about this difficulty with being scheduled, with being structured, and with kind of achieving that societal definition of success, basically. Okay. And it's an attempt to like grip onto your agenda, right? That's part of migraine energy, is wanting to grip onto your agenda and not kind of lean back and be like, okay, I just surrendered to the universe, and know that all of this energy is moving through me and moving for me, even if it might be uncomfortable. And there's that deep trust in that as you continue to practice that and release and surrender to the universe, that you have the opportunity to change and shift this pattern. So one of the really powerful downloads that I got from the Akashic records around migraines, I actually made a post about it the other day, but it's definitely worth alive here for sure, because so many people struggle with migraines. All right, so one of the main things that they brought forward for me, I'm just increasing the size of the text because that just shows you where my eyesight is right now. So, okay. I just wanted to share a couple nuggets from this post that really they're coming forward when migraines come forward because they are showing us the pattern, the archaic pattern of the false masculine. So what the hell does that mean, right? So the false masculine energy presents as go, go, go energy, endorsing hierarchical structure, right? Like with corporate America or, any kind of hierarchy. Oh my goodness, hierarchy, even in families, right? It endorses that hierarchical structure and overly demonstrative behavior, right? So this is not the definition of the divine masculine. The divine masculine is really defined by, the best example is Jesus Christ, right? Because he was very loving and compassionate and gentle at the same time that he was very bold about his beliefs and very direct about what he knew was best, right, for the community around him. So this is the energy that we want to balance with our feminine energy. And whenever we're in harmony, we are going to be at our best. And so when the migraines are coming forward, it's really telling you you're way too invested in this false masculine energy. There's go, 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 achieve, 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 gotta be on, gotta do. And you're going against that natural energy that makes you tick. So one of the best ways to move forward with migraines is to be able to follow your flow. So what does that mean? That means that when you wake up in the morning, you go with the flow. Do you feel like having a cup of coffee or tea? Do you feel like having breakfast first? Do you feel like taking a shower? Do you feel like drying your hair or brushing your hair or not brushing your hair? You get to choose whatever you want. Now, this doesn't have to be on a daily basis. Start off slowly, maybe do an hour on the weekend in the morning or something. Or a lot of people like to apply this to intuitive eating, where they'll go to the fridge and they choose what they're eating based on what feels good to them. Like just what their energy just feels like, I don't want that. I don't have any reasons as to why I don't want that, but I just don't want that, right? And that applies to eating, but you can apply this to anything in your life. If you have plans with somebody and you wake up that day and you feel like crap, or you just feel like, you know what, I don't feel like crap. I actually feel great. And I know that I'm going to be able to maintain this feeling most if I stay home and I chill. And then you're able to say that to that person, right? This is where the boundaries come in. And you say, you know what, I know we made these plans and I'm very sorry to cancel, or if this was an inconvenience for you, but this is what's best for me today. And that can be a very, very hard thing to do. And it's something that takes practice. And you can practice it in some relationships over others to kind of ease yourself in. Okay. So those are some examples of how you can start to follow and listen to your feminine energy, to your natural energy, and what it's drawn to. Because then what you do is when you listen to your energy as it dictates what you need and want throughout the day, you can then create structure around it. But you're letting your feminine energy lead rather than, here's my structure and I'm adjusting my natural flow in between the structure and within the structure. And that feels forced and that feels like you're living to somebody else's standards. But there are no standards, right? There's only our unique experience, and we get to decide in any moment what our structure looks like and feels like. So it's very empowering to kind of put this hat on and say, you know what? Yeah, this is highlighting when I get this migraine coming forward. This is really highlighting how much I am pushing to fit into the box, right? Thank you so much, Cassidy, for sharing that link. Super helpful. So what does that mean? If that comes up and you feel like, oh, geez, this shows me that I'm just trying to go, go, go. That's proving energy. That's you trying to prove yourself that you're successful, that you're smart. Yes, you can heal your life is the name of the Louise Hay book. Absolutely. Yep. So, that's the thing. You don't have to, and when we're proving ourselves to anyone or any institution or what have you, we're truly just proving ourselves to ourselves. We're not proving ourselves to other people. It's really that we're proving ourselves to ourselves because we need to know that we're worthy. And so we're trying to commit to some pathway that has evidence that shows us that if we get to this level of success or this level of income or this level of education or this level of beauty or this level of weight or whatever it happens to be, then we're going to be worthy. instead of really connecting with your higher self, identifying, okay, where am I meant to go in this world, right? And what is my natural energetic blueprint? And I always recommend people find their human design chart too, because when you look up your human design chart, that's really going to tell you, based on the arrows at the top of your head of a human design chart. You're going to get so confused if you've never looked at one before. But you can go to mybodygraph.com. That's the quickest and easiest one. But I know Jovian Archive also has some too. And some of them they're very hard, just in general, they're very hard to navigate on your own. I've had people helping me to figure it out, and I'm still not fully educated on human design, but it's absolutely, it's fantastic. It's a wonderful tool. I love marrying that with the Akashic records. It's brilliant. Anything you merge with the Akashic records is just amplified. So, but with the arrows in the top of your head on your chart for human design, basically, if the arrows are pointing to the right, that means that you like more feminine flow and you like to get away with less structure in that area of that arrow. And if they're pointing to the left, that means that you prefer more structure. You feel more comfortable with structure. Because listen, the two, and so that's the thing, like for me, I realized I was operating on a masculine paradigm, which again, like I said, is a false masculine, okay? The divine masculine is Jesus Christ, right? The divine masculine is Jesus Christ, that kind of vision, right? But the false masculine is basically a representation of males who felt pressured for so many years. That's why I say it's archaic pathways of the false masculine, because this was years and years and years, centuries ago, when they felt the pressure to provide and protect everyone in their family. And then if they didn't meet those standards, they felt like shit about themselves, right? They felt insecure. And so they started presenting with this like machismo and this like, what were the words I used in my post? I loved those. This overly demonstrative behavior, right? They had this proving energy about them, right? A real proving energy. And so what happens is we then identify with that as well, because we have masculine energy within us. All of us have feminine and masculine energy within us. And so then we get drawn to that false masculine. And so the migraine comes up and reminds us, don't get lost in the sauce. Don't get lost in the false masculine, right? That's society's definition of success, or that's your parents' definition of success. Figure out what your definition of success is, right? What does that feel like to you? For me, I redefined success as freedom, space, and time with my family, like immense unconditional love, time with myself, right? And so, but I wasn't operating that way. For most of my life, I was operating with go, 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 false masculine energy. I got to get a good degree from this school. I got to go to grad school. I want to have a good title. I want to have a certain number of clients. I want to make a certain amount of money, right? And so it's important for you to at least assess that. Sit down and identify whether that definition of success really aligns with your value system and what you ultimately feel you would like to have as the foundation for your life, your happiness, your joy, your ease, your flow. Because the masculine and the feminine energy work so beautifully together. The feminine can have her flow and kind of do her thing and follow her own lead. And then the masculine can provide that safe holding container. I always say that my relationship with my husband is a beautiful representation of that, because it's like I said, I operated on this masculine paradigm for so many years, for most of my life. And then in human design, 3 out of my 4 arrows point to the right, which means that I am naturally, energetically wired to get away with as little structure as possible and to just flow. Right? Which is why what I'm doing now makes much more sense in my life. But I wasn't operating on that because I didn't know that before. Helpful information, but it's also just good for you to assess kind of, you know, what do you desire? Like, what do you want in this life? How do you want to feel? Not necessarily, oh, I want the white picket fence and 2 dogs and 3 kids and X, Y, and Z, right? It doesn't always unfold in exactly the way we envision it. But we want to be clear about what we value feeling like. Do you value wellness and vitality? Is that one of your top priorities? Right? So it's being able to just go to the drawing board with some of these beliefs so that you can find a nice harmony between the masculine and the feminine. And, what was the other thing that I said here? Yeah, just realize it, like creating your own standards of excellence for yourself, right? And realizing that it's limitless excellence, right? That once we reach excellence, we can reach more excellence if we feel like it. It's not a standard we're living up to, it's just a journey of enjoyment. Like we want to enjoy the process. And how many of you are enjoying the process when you have migraines? I know I don't enjoy a migraine. But for me, it's a very, very clear, bold message from the universe. And so I receive that. And as the universe knows that I receive that, and I take the time to integrate that and to learn about it and to say to my body, thank you for signaling me. What is it that I currently need to release? Or what is it that I currently need to understand more deeply about myself? And tonight's a really good night to do that. We have a new moon in Aries. So you guys can go on the Moon Omens YouTube channel. They have a free meditation there that they do at 9:45 Eastern time on every new moon and every full moon. And not everybody releases on a new moon. I always do. I release and then I set my intentions for this moon cycle because we're in a dark moon, right? So this offers us the opportunity to look within to those shadow parts that we might feel we're hiding from something of a part of ourselves, or there's a part of us that we're not seeing so clearly. So it gives us the opportunity to appreciate and honor that and sit with it and write about it and release any negative judgments or criticisms that might come up around that, and then burn it safely, please, and scatter the ashes to the earth, and then they will be transformed into love and to wherever the energy is currently needed. And then you can set your intentions. So Lori says, I wonder if this applies to more than one illness, masculine and feminine not being in harmony. I 100% think so, for sure, because if you look at traditional Chinese medicine, they consider one side of the body masculine and one side of the body feminine. And so I believe it's the right side is masculine and the left side is feminine. I feel like I hesitate to say that because I feel like I get that wrong all the time. Thank you, Cassidy, for sharing that YouTube channel. Yeah, so it's like, for instance, I have immune issues. And it's funny because sometimes for the longest time, I would say to my naturopath, I said, I know that this means something, that all of my symptoms were on the right side of my body. I was like, there's no way that's coincidental. That means something, right? So yeah, so I know in traditional Chinese medicine, particularly through acupuncture, they tap into those meridians to balance your meridians, right? One really good way to practice this too is to use binaural beats meditations, because what they do is you put a headphone, you have to use headphones with them, but you put one in each ear and it plays one tone in your right ear and one tone in your left ear, and then your brain creates the third tone. So what it does is it's integrating and creating more efficiency between the two hemispheres of your brain. It's really activating that corpus callosum, right? So you're engaging the masculine and the feminine energies. So that's a beautiful way to start practicing some of this as well. Okay. So yeah, so those are the downloads that have come through the records around migraines. This, mainly there's this balance of masculine and feminine, right? And the proving energy, that you don't have to prove, and this definition of success, right? The other thing is that I just want to say quickly before we go, to realize that something like migraines is very firmly rooted in belief systems. And one of the things that I've noticed, and I know a lot of other healers that have noticed this pattern too, female is right, male is left. See, I told you I got it wrong. I do it wrong every time. I always do it wrong every time. Female is right, male is left. Thank you. Right. So it's like, when we are dealing with these belief systems, and they're very well ingrained if we have chronic migraines, they're not just from us. We're carrying forward this false masculine from our ancestors. We could be carrying it forward from past lives. It doesn't necessarily start with us. So I just don't want you to rule that out, and know that we have the ability to release these belief systems and these definitions and standards from our ancestors, from our past lives, from our current lives. And we can do that in the Akashic records. There's also other modalities that you can use to access and connect with your ancestors. And you're really providing a service to yourself and to them and to generations going forward. So, yeah, I can imagine, Lori. You have sores on both legs, so the energy is fighting. Yep, tug of war. 100%. And think about it. I mean, you know what? That's interesting to me too, Lori, because since the Saturn Pluto conjunction, I keep saying that Saturn Jupiter, I think it was, conjunction at the winter solstice in December, I believe it was December 21st, that was a huge shift in the balance of masculine and feminine on a societal level. Because Saturn is all about like societal structure and standards and I guess you could say foundations as well. And it's like the scaffolding for our society, right? And so Saturn entered an air sign for the first time. This conjunction, right, shifted the energy for the first time in over 200 years. And so what's so cool is that we're seeing this, right? I mean, we're seeing that our school systems have been structured differently over the past year. We are seeing a lot of shifts, even politically and things like that in our society, where people are shifting, their perspectives and their mindsets are shifting. And the structures that we're so used to have also started to shift, right? And so the fact that we are experiencing this on an individual level, whether it's with our health or otherwise, is such a sign of you being an empath, Lori, right? Because you're picking up on this energy of this kind of tug of war where people are so used to this masculine energy, right? I know this is the structure, this is the agenda, this is what I'm used to. That keeps me safe. Let's stick with that. And then the tidal wave comes in and it's like, no, let's shake things up, right? Let's bring you a pandemic and shake things up so that now we have to realign and rebalance these masculine and feminine energies, right? So you're feeling that on an individual level. I'm feeling that on an individual level. And so it's, again, an act of service for you to move this energy through as a collective. But what sounds like is happening is it's kind of getting stuck within you, right? And so it's about allowing that release. So tonight is a good place to start with the new moon for sure. And to set that intention of returning to a state of balance and allowing the two to flow with one another, and realize that there is no civil war within your physical body, because these energies actually work very harmoniously together. So it's being able to see them from a divine perspective. Yeah, pandemic has been a huge stressor for a lot of people for so many reasons. And that's one of them. That's one of the reasons. Everything that we kind of had been accustomed to and made us feel safe and connected and loved shifted. But it's remembering as well that this external world is a representation and a reflection of our experience as human beings, right? But that the divine is always unwavering, and that we can always tap into divinity. We can always tap into our Akashic records or our higher selves and be able to channel and connect with and develop greater intimacy with this relationship with spirit, knowing that no matter what's going on around us, we have that continuous infusion of wellness, of energy, of love. And that's something that, again, takes practice and patience to cultivate that relationship with your higher self. So anyway, that is all I have for tonight. Definitely any of you who are interested in additional healing, jump into Room for Healing. I know we have that link posted here in the comments. It's a free private Facebook group. I do Akashic healings every week, and I'm happy to welcome you in and just offer you some additional healing. And for those of you who are looking for shifting your limiting beliefs permanently, allowing them to catch the energy that's dense and doesn't serve you before it gets to the emotional and the physical level, you can join me in Limitless, which is my mini course that just began. I just did my first live today. We're going to be meeting for 14 days. And it's a very low cost, small group. and we're just diving in. There's freebies, and we're having fun already with just being able to share what's coming up and being vulnerable, because that's what we need to do, right? We want to be authentic. And when we talk about migraines and we talk about the proving energy, what's the opposite of that? Just being totally you, right? Being fully authentic. I promise you, if you're in this go, go, go proving energy, you are not being fully authentically you. So it's time to come back to that, right? To come home to that, to return to that, because that part of you has always been there. So it's just returning to you and understanding yourself even more intimately. Okay. So I love you guys. Have a wonderful week. And I will see you next week, or I will see you before that in Room for Healing. Have a good one. Bye.